Hello, Helena. It's Emily McVeigh, Executive Director of the United Way of the Lewis and Clark area. We're here for this week's United Way Partner Spotlight with Teresa Ortega from Good Samaritan Ministries. Welcome, Teresa.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
We've seen some of your staff in the last few interviews, but
Yeah.
let's get an overview of the successes of the thrift store for last year.
Well, it's been an interesting year. I can say that we've held our ground through the ups and downs of trying to find people to work and being able to take donations with basically at one point we were down, I think it was 6 or 7 staff in the back. So that was pretty difficult to get going, and then to try and keep the dock open to get donations to come in. That was a challenge, but kudos to our core staff that have stuck with us. And many have jumped from department to department, which has prompted us to start thinking, well, we need to cross-train everyone. So we just hire them for all positions and go forward. So that worked. It was kind of a struggle of a year. I thought 2022 would have been easier, and it really wasn't. But we're still there. And yesterday we brought 4 new people in, which we're excited about to get going again. So hopefully we'll get our dock opened up every day again. So.
Well, it's important for people to bring donations to Good Samaritan, especially because the money that you make goes back into your assistance ministries and the other things you guys do.
A piece of it does. We do, if people need anything, clothing, households, furnishings, and we had to really cut back on the furniture this last year. When those items come in, if someone needs it, we'll give it to them. There's just no question about that. Thinking of that, which has been really interesting with the thrift store this year, is that theft has been huge. I mean, we have just started picking up tags everywhere, empty boxes where people have been stealing things. And I want to say, and I've always said, if someone needs it bad enough, we'll give it to them. But these are not needs, they're wants that people are stealing. So, that's been, how far do we go with this? And we do have to keep up with it because it is our livelihood. And why steal from someplace that gives things away for people in need? So that's been a challenge this year too, and I think there's some legalities around that, why it's even gotten more.
Yeah.
So.
And when you say you had to cut back on furniture, was it because you didn't have enough to be able to give things away?
It would come and go in waves, but because of how we didn't have people to get so much merchandise out, our sales were short. So we did have to cut back a little bit, and there were people that did come in and get furnishings when they needed it, and it was usually in pretty severe cases that we did help them.
Okay, just want to encourage people to give to Good Samaritan.
Absolutely, please
giving.
give to Good Samaritan. We need furniture, we need all kinds of things. So, and again, a portion goes to that, the assistance, but the store supports all of what we do at this point. There are a couple grants that take pieces of our assistance salaries. Not a lot, though. The store is our mainstay of what's going on. We hope in 2023 we'll be able to look at that differently and separate some salaries from the store so we can work with our store employee salaries better and do that. So, but we look after our staff as well. If they need something, we're there to help them.
Great.
Yeah.
And give us an overview of your assistance ministries. What is that all? A lot of things. So what are?
It is a lot of
list?
things. It is a lot. We have the Hunthausen Fund, and we have a very supportive group of supporters that was very loyal to Archbishop Hunthausen and to, I believe it was Father John and his sister, who I think it was Sister Rita. I'm not sure, I may have that wrong. But they were all very faithful and were in the faith community to support people in need and in housing. To the Hunthausen, the home and the family is very, very important. So that program helps those that maybe not eligible to apply for assistance because they're working, or they may have some other income, but it's not the full amount to get into housing. So that program does help with the deposit for someone to get in, or sometimes a little bit more. And the other, so if someone needs $3,000, Good Sam's would gift them half of that, and the other half they would pay back, so that someone in that position again can get that assistance. This is a no interest loan. It's just pay us back. We'll throw it out into the community, whoever needs it. We have our regular assistance ministry, who's very, very busy with people and day-to-day needs, and you'd think that would settle down, but it doesn't. And with the economy, it's just really skyrocketed. I don't know how people make it. I do not know how people make it. We've also really increased our assistance with people, either financially or with monetary items as well. So we've done that. Our assistance ministry, and we have our outreach program, street outreach, that between the two folks we have in those programs, they work very well with Helena Police Department, with pretrial services to get people where they need. It's a great combination with Helena Police Department that they can call us at any time they do, which is great, and the staff are always available, that if there's someone that's not something they can take care of, the PD, if it's someone that's drunk or someone that's out of order or any behaviors that they wouldn't necessarily be able to spend the time on, our staff go out and support that individual and get them to where they need to be. Now, the PD called us a couple weeks ago. There was a person that it was snowing. It was in that cold snap, and she was laying on the side of the freeway, and they could not get her to move. So our assistance coordinator, Ara, was called at that point, and she went out, and the woman was very fearful, and I can get it. I don't think people realize how much trauma those on the street, especially women, go through. And so Ara was able to get her out of there. She would not get in the car, but she walked her to a hotel and got her in a place for the evening. And then the next couple of nights, they worked together to see where she needed to be. But that's going really well, and we hope to continue that program as well. We've got Our Place, which is for resource recovery and education. It's been kind of a challenge lately because we've had such cold weather. The Our Place program is funded by Behavioral Health Division, which used to be AMDD, now it's BHDD.
Right.
But that's a nice grant to help people get into treatment. We've helped several people. It's to help them retain their sobriety and have a safe place to go and to talk to people, to help with different documents or state documents they may need. What's happening is that we work with God's Love too, and they're not open during the day, so everybody's coming down. But what we're seeing, even if they don't qualify for those grant services, we are seeing that they're sticking around for groups. We've had 18 to 20 people in our groups in the morning, and then they come back at 1 o'clock for their afternoon group. And even though, again, they're not fitting the requirements, they're starting to ask questions. I need to get housing, I need this, or I want to go into treatment. And so, it's spreading out. So even though we've got basically 2 programs running here, people are taking advantage of it. So.
Well, and traditionally Our Place was known as the drop-in center, and that model has changed.
It has.
And really is more about a stable group and planned out events throughout the day. But when the weather got to be what it was in December, you were able to open the doors and still allow people in.
We did, and like I said, we talked to Dave at God's Love about this, and we actually were on the phone with him this morning, who was going to be open when and how to take care of through this next cold snap. So, that's kind of got out the window, but we do have plans to bring that back around. I think we need to rebrand Our Place completely so that it is a recovery, resource, and treatment facility, and it's not the drop-in center for everyone. We need to find another place, as you know. We need to look at that and see what we can do. I hope there are some ideas with that.
Great. And another piece of your work is the Housing Navigator.
Yeah.
How's the Housing Navigator position been going? And
it's going
what
well.
do they do?
It's going well. So the Housing Navigator position does not provide assistance as in paying rent or anything like that for a person. I mean, we could always help if they need stuff from the store, but that position is to help guide people to housing. And if you look on the Housing Navigator site on Good Samaritan, that is updated a couple times a week where there's housing available. We have a new gal there named Shannon who's done a great job in the first couple months she's been there. She's gotten like 4 or 5 people housed just by talking to the landlords, keeping that list updated, giving them a call, helping them fill out applications. We do help people with application fees. That has been something that has been even more of a struggle. We did have an application fee that was for $125.
Wow.
So it's going up everywhere. We do have some funds for that. That application fee and support with that can make the difference of someone getting housed and not. So we've helped with several $100s on that to get that going. And we'll be talking more about that in an email we're going to be sending out, or a document. But it has its place. And we basically we work with people that maybe 30% and below up to 80%.
So
And
those people have to be employed.
they have to be employed, and we're seeing more people that are coming in with decent jobs that can't find a place. And when I say decent jobs, they still can't afford the deposit and the rent because rent is so high. When we're looking at a studio for $1,500, wow, this is why people are not living in an environment where they can call home right now.
Right.
So, but that's nothing you don't know.
Right. When we'll know a little more. We did the point in time.
Yeah.
It's currently happening. The big count was last night. It'll go on till next week, and we'll know a little
Nice.
better about what those numbers look like for this year, knowing that a lot of people have been displaced because of that high rental cost, and
Yeah.
or
it's
they're
just-
sharing homes or being very creative in the way they live right now.
You know, and I often hear, why is it jumping so high? What's going on? Well, the whole economy is going high. But what we have seen is a lot of landlords are selling their places because housing costs have jumped so much, they're able to make more. Do you blame them for that? Yeah, it's business.
Yeah.
So, but we work with the landlords, and Shannon's got a good take on that. Ara has a good take on landlords to touch base with them.
All right. Do you have any open positions that you're trying to fill right now?
Well, I am so happy to announce that yesterday we hired and started 4, possibly 5 new people. We had our linens department empty, our clothing department was empty, our books was short, our crafts was short. So it looks like we've filled those positions to get people going again, which again, we get more on the floor. We get to open the dock up more so people can drop off more. It's just been a circle to keep this going. When we have our board meetings, this is often the conversation, you know, how we're doing it, how we're staying afloat, and so many retail have closed down. We're very fortunate we're not a regular retail store. We're very fortunate that we have uniqueness about Good Sam and the thrift store. And for those who come in that can't afford higher prices, or for those who come in, like I'm one of those people that come in for the hunt. You know? So we're going to be okay. We're making it through, and we'll see what 2003 brings, or 2023 brings with us.
Yeah, it is kind of a layered thing. If you can't get things on the floor, you can't get them out of the back, you can't take more things, and so
It's a vicious cycle.
So do you also use volunteers for those projects?
We do have some volunteers that come in and work with us, and we have a regular group. Something that I'm particularly proud of with our staff is they've all jumped in. So I know I've had assistant staff in the back helping. I've got a receptionist sorting clothes up front. I go in and close, or I come in and open. Sundays, periodical Sundays, and this Sunday I'll be there from 1 to 5 to shut down because we're short a person in the evening. So it's a good group. They work really well together. There's never any judgment. I can't do that job. I don't want to do this job. It's sure, where can I help? Where do I go?
So if somebody wanted to apply for a job or to be a volunteer, how would they do that?
We've got applications in the office. Please come and get them. And I believe the employment application is on our website as well. We would love to have people come in. And to volunteer, we're working with different groups for family volunteers. We had a gentleman from the Chancery office come down who works up there, and he brought his 2 kids in, and they sorted toys for a couple of hours. Those kids were in heaven. I go back there and every minute, Dad, can I have this? Dad, can I have this?
Right? Then it's part of the hunt.
It is part of the hunt then. So we're looking at a couple of other churches coming in and doing that. It's a good thing. It's good for our kids to see that as well,
Yeah.
and what they're volunteering for.
So do you have any big plans for 2023, or do you have things to share that are coming up?
I really want to rebrand our place. Number one, I think that's important to do. I know we've all been talking about what other things we need within the community of Helena for a warming shelter, and a low barrier shelter is something we need to look at. That would work in collaboration with our shelter, our God's Love shelter as well, so we can catch all populations that need support and services. I want to see our store come back up to where I believe it should be for revenues, and I think it's time. Hopefully we're going to get through this, and I hope 2023 is that year. So
Just smooth sailing from here.
smooth sailing like a ship on ice, right?
I don't know if we look outside today.
Yeah, it is a lot of ice.
There's a lot of ice. Yeah, Helena is an ice town. Any other last comments before we sign off for the day?
I just like to thank our donors. Our donors are so very important to us. Our staff are amazing when they come back and tell stories about people they see and how clientele calls them back and thanks them. That makes our day. You know, they think we're giving so much to them with the services, but they give to us equally when they call back and say, this is what I'm doing now, thank you. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining us, Teresa.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Helena. We'll see you again next week.